Ooh, okay. Hopefully, let's hope and pray that today's live stream works. If you are watching and you see any technical difficulties, please let me know. But welcome everyone. I'm sorry I'm late. If this is your first time watching the show, either live or the replay, welcome. My name is Kissa, and I am a food entrepreneur and business coach. And I do this live stream every week just to prep for my week, share that experience with you guys, and just explain how I personally do it for my food business and my life as an entrepreneur. So hopefully this is helpful to you. I hope that throughout our time together, there's just something that you get out of it, whether it's using my same setup or just taking bits and pieces or takeaways that work for you personally that you can implement into your own setup or in your own business or in your own life. So welcome to the show. I'm so glad that you are here. And if you have any questions or comments throughout the show, please put them in the chat box or in the comments below this video, and I am more than happy to answer them as best as I can. Something that I also wanted to kind of talk about today, that I wanted to just share, is just my feelings on, expertise and all that stuff. I believe strongly that every single person has their own journey, and I'm just sharing mine. And I encourage you to share yours too, because we're all on a different path. And the whole goal of learning and growing is not to completely copy someone else's, whether it be workflow or planner setup or business or product. The whole point isn't to copy necessarily. The point is to take away very useful things that you see from others and use it as a jump off or inspiration point to then move yourself forward. And I think it's very important to just go over that, because I am the type that sees something on YouTube personally, and I just love something that I might see and I want to copy it verbatim, because I see that it works for someone, and if it works for someone, I automatically think it's gonna work for me. Hi, babe.
Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Micah is not yet sleeping, so I just went for it. But yeah, so I tend to be the type that's, sees a setup from someone and wants to use their exact same setup, and it's obviously not something that is effective for me, because their life, their journey, their path, and what is efficient and productive and works for them isn't going to be the same thing that is efficient, productive, and works for me. So I've learned over time that there are things that are very useful, and those things that really resonate with me, I want to use them. And then the other things that aren't necessarily useful for me, but might inspire a different approach to looking at the way I do business, is something that is really important. And I think I might not necessarily copy, or maybe copy is not the right word, but I might not necessarily implement. And it's something that just kind of marinates in the back of my mind. And then when I figure out how to use it efficiently for myself in my own way, then that's what I want to take from another person's productive setup. So when you're watching this, I hope that that's what you do. You don't have to necessarily take my entire setup and use it, but I hope it's a jump off point for you. Sorry, I'm watching my son Micah on his monitor. He has not been sleeping well. So let's just go into last week and how last week went. So we went to the doctor for Micah for his 15-month checkup, and everything was great. The doctor was asking how he was sleeping, and I was like, great. We just put him in his crib, and within a few minutes, he puts himself to sleep. And then whenever he's ready to wake up, which is usually at minimum an hour, sometimes 2 hours, he's great. He's recharged. He's good. He was like, wonderful. When we got home, literally that night, he would not put himself to sleep. Like, he just started regressing. Oh my God, praise God. He's asleep. He has put himself to sleep. Sorry. Okay. Anyway, tangent. But, just that same day, ironically enough, he just decided that he didn't want to put himself to sleep. Wonderful for me. And he was crying. He was inconsolable. He was just not he was not into going to sleep on his own. And so I figured out that he was going through a 15-month sleep regression, and last week was rough when it came to putting him to bed, whether it be naps or for nighttime sleep. It was just not the best. And so Charlie and I had gotten into a routine that we would do work-related things once he goes to bed at night, which was usually around 8 p.m. He would go to bed, and then we would work, after that, since we didn't have to watch him. And last week we were just not able to do that. I mean, he would toss and turn, and we would just have to be there for him for over, for an hour. And then by the time we actually were able to sit down and do what we needed to do and all that, it was way past 9 p.m., sometimes 10 p.m., and it was just a rough week. So, he woke up. But today, I was trying to put him down for his nap at 11 o'clock like he normally does, and he's kind of transitioning, and I can tell, which is probably the whole sleep regression thing. He's transitioning from 2 naps to 1 nap, and poor thing is going through it. And so today I was putting him down for his nap at 11 o'clock, and usually I just put him straight in, and then I hop on this live show, and I knew that wasn't going to be the case. So at around 10:45, I was prepping him, letting him know that he was going to take a nap soon, and then we went in before 11, but I knew it was going to take a while for him to get adjusted and actually go down for his nap. And so I was thinking maybe 20 minutes, hopeful. I was being hopeful for 20 minutes, to be honest with you, and he just wasn't into it. And so I had to stay in there with him, and luckily this time though I noticed that he wasn't crying and he wasn't screaming, but he would just kind of look and see if I was in the room. And so when he saw I was in the room, he would go back to doing what he was doing, which was trying to put himself to sleep. And I can tell he was, because he was doing his normal toss and turn, but he was laying down. And so I decided, okay, let's push the live show back to 12 o'clock and let's see if he'll actually put himself down to sleep. And it looks like he's doing it, but this has now been over an hour of him tossing and turning in his crib, poor thing. And so I don't know, I'm hoping that it's only going to last 1 more week, but you never know with kids. And so I think the best thing is, knowing that he's going to transition to 1 nap anyway, is I probably need to push back the live show to 12 p.m. versus 11 a.m. Pacific time, just so that way, hopefully he'll be adjusted pretty well by next week. But if not, Charlie usually gets home around this time from doing production, and so if anything, he can keep an eye on Micah while I do this live show with you guys. Thanks. So we'll try 12 p.m. from now on Pacific time, and we'll just try that for a while and see how it goes. But hopefully that works well with Micah's schedule, so that I don't have to stress about it for for the time being. We'll see what happens. Anyway, so that was last week. We also had a pop-up on Sunday. It was hot as hell, and it's only going to get hotter from this point, and so I am not looking forward to that. But it is what it is. LA weather, especially here where we live, it tends to get pretty hot, so it just comes with the territory. I just have to accept that I'm going to be hot and sweaty on those pop-ups, and it is what it is. It's all good. Anyway, so we had a pop-up. It was great. It was our first time doing this pop-up in the Arts District in downtown LA. We're going to be doing it every second Sunday of the month, and so I'm really excited about that. Our community really came out for us. There were some people that came and was like, I've been waiting all week for you to come. And so it's just that good feeling, that validating feeling of like, people want what we have to offer, and that means a lot. So it was great to be in a new place. It was fun to meet new vendors that were participating in the event as well. It was just wonderful, and I'm so glad that we got to be a part of it. That being said, we have another pop-up this coming weekend in Chinatown in downtown LA. This time around, we're not doing our regular pop-up setup. We're actually participating in a burger challenge at Locals Only in Chinatown. And so you buy a ticket and you participate in the burger championship, and you basically taste 3 burgers and you pick the winner. And whoever wins gets this like belt, which is pretty cool. They had a belt made for the burger championship, so we're participating in that. If you are interested in something that's outside of what we normally do for our pop-ups, this is definitely the one, because this gives us the opportunity to kind of flex a different muscle that we haven't been able to use in a long time. And so Charlie's really excited. He's doing some R&D this week. And he's having some friends over to taste test and to kind of experiment and try it out. So, and then we have another pop-up at the end of the month. Anyway, that being said, this last week was a great week. Aside from the sleep regression, we're doing really well. I'm glad that we're out of the woods in regards to that. Just seeing how Micah was sleeping today, hopefully we're out of the neck of the woods with that. And let's just go into it and plan our week. So let me open up my Notion setup so that we can figure out what's going on this week. I also want to kind of go through what goes on in my head as I'm using my Notion setup, just because as I'm doing this is kind of my chance to reflect on the last week, just like I did with you guys right now. And then what I do is I kind of say, okay, great. Now that I know what went down last week, how does that affect this upcoming week? So let's do our personal first. Actually, I wanted to mention, after we go through this week, I'm going to go over our how I go through the process of our cost analysis with you. So when we're creating new product, or if we're just auditing current product that we sell, I'm going to go over that with you today on how I create the cost for our products. I mentioned it on my Instagram post. For a lot of people, including myself, this is not the funnest part of being an entrepreneur, but you have to remember that whether you sell a product or a service, but more importantly, when you sell a product, you want to make sure your price points are where they lie and they're strong. So I'm going to go over that in a little bit, but let's go over this week's agenda first and go on from there. Actually, now that Charlie is home, I'm going to turn off Micah's monitor so I can focus solely on you guys. Okay, so this week I'm going to create a new weekly agenda, as I normally do. It's going to be June 21st, or I'm sorry. Oh, just kidding. I didn't even know what day it was. Well, we'll make this for next week, June 21st to 27th. Okay. This is going to be for next week. I remember now that I actually created one already for this week. So that's going to be for next week. This is the one that we need for this week. I didn't even know what day it was. Today is June 14th. So let's open this up as a page. All right, so this is the agenda for this week. I have not really touched it. I just created the template just so it's easier for us and easier for me. So considering what happened last week, the things I want to focus on this week is preparing and restocking our store, We did really great at the pop-up. We brought a lot. We brought everything. We brought everything that we had, and we had a deal that we always do at our pop-ups. It's you get a discount off of the products when you buy 4 or more items, and so that always does really well. It helps us to move our pastry really quickly, and so we really have to work on restocking our store anytime we do a pop-up and we bring pastry. So we're gonna work on preparing and restocking our store. The other thing I need to focus on is promoting the Prep Talk live show. So when it comes to my coaching business, I think I really want to focus on doing 2 Instagram posts a week, and I choose Instagram because that's where I really am more active compared to a platform like Facebook. I'm very active here on YouTube because I have my live show, but it's only just now kicking up some steam. So I want to start promoting this live show on my Instagram, and I want to do at least 2 posts a week. One post will be to discuss and share the topic that I'm going to be discussing in the Prep Talk live show. And then the other post will be just something as like I've learned throughout the past week, throughout my journey, things like that, or even tips and tricks about, being a food business, or being an entrepreneur that sells products, or maybe tips that I've learned in the past week about doing pop-ups. So I want to do 2 posts a week. 2 posts a week. And then the other thing that I want to focus on is rereading Atomic Habits. It's been on my list. I purchased the audiobook from Amazon, or Audible basically, and so I want to reread that book, and so I'm gonna go ahead and start reading it again. I started this past Saturday, and I want to try and finish it before the month of June ends. Oh, actually, you know what? No, I want to rescind that now that I'm thinking about it. I was just talking to my accountability partner Heather this morning, and I was telling her that I'm going through the community design masterclass by Gina Bianchini. She's the creator of Mighty Networks, and my group coaching community is hosted on Mighty Networks. And so I told myself that I wanted to get through that community design masterclass. So I'm going to actually put that instead. I changed my mind. So community design masterclass. So I went through week 1 last week. I need to finish up the homework from week 1. And then I want to go ahead and start on week 2 this week, and keep going through the course. The course that I participated in is a 5-week course, and my cohort is pretty much done. But I have lifetime access to that course, and one thing that Gina really reinforces is the idea of going at your own pace. And I think that's really important, especially for someone like me that tries to do things like online courses and things like that. I get really discouraged when I'm not on pace with the curriculum, and so when I get discouraged, I tend to not want to do it anymore. But she really reinforced the idea of everyone in their own time will get to this. And so if you didn't do it, in timeline with the course live, that's okay. Even if you were a week behind or you completely missed it, she likes to remind all of us that, that's okay. Everyone will do it in our own time. And so I definitely want to remember that, because I am such a type A person when it comes to that, and I always want to be on pace, and whenever I'm not, I really get hard on myself. So anyway, week 2, of community design masterclass is what I'm going to be focusing on this week as well. So those are going to be my 3 focuses. I definitely know that we're going to have a lot of things come up throughout the week, and so knowing that, I want to prepare myself and give myself time, and just focus on these 3. I could write down here that I want to reread Atomic Habits, and if I get to it this week, great, but it's not going to be my focus. I want to focus on these 3 things and make sure these 3 things get done, and then if I do have time to read, I'm definitely going to, but if not, it's all good. Okay, so that's that. Shopping list. Last week I had a few things on my shopping list. Testimony on this shopping list. So last week, let's go back. Let's go back to last week's agenda. I forgot to buy, okay, so I knew I needed to buy fabric softener. And so I told Charlie, I said, we need to go buy fabric softener. He goes, oh, that's perfect. I need to go buy mouthwash and a few other things. So let's go to Target and do it. So we went, we bought the toothpaste, we bought the mouthwash. There was some other like toiletry essentials things that I needed to buy. And I was like, great, we're good. Completely forgot the fabric softener. And so I had to place another order, and I decided this time I would do a Target pickup order because I wanted to make sure that I wouldn't forget it. And so one tip that I have is, 1, look at your shopping list, especially if you know you're going to a place like Target, specifically because you want to pick something up that you wrote down on your shopping list. So look at your shopping list before you walk into the store. But second of all, another thing that I really recommend is utilizing the apps for the stores like Target or Walmart or whatever store you're going into, and adding those things to your cart. And then what you can do is either you can do a pickup and pay for it on the app, or you could just add it to your cart, and then when you walk into Target, open it up and pick it up yourself. So that way you just know the things that you really needed to buy get purchased, and then you don't have to waste your time and do this all over again. So anyway, those are my 2 tips, considering that I completely did not open up Notion, and I didn't check and see what I actually needed. So take it from me. As of right now, I can't think of anything that I particularly need. As far as shopping list goes, I think we're pretty good on essentials and things like that. So I'm going to leave this blank, but I've been going in there anytime I realize I need to buy something, I put it in my shopping list. So that's why that's there. Okay, so let's go ahead and filter out our daily journal. Last week, as you can see, I tried to add like a Hawaii inspired cover photo to my daily journals because I have, I think, 49 days until we leave for Hawaii. So whether I have photos of Hawaii in my own photos that I upload, or this is from what they call Unsplash, and you can find stock photos that you can use for your cover photos, I just wanted to remind myself, okay, Hawaii's coming up. Make good choices, do good things, make sure you're as productive as possible. That way you can really enjoy Hawaii when you go. Ooh, speaking of Hawaii, I started working on our travel itinerary in Notion. Let me just tangent and sneak peek that for you guys. We have a travel database here. And so anytime we have a trip, we put it in I put it into our travel database, and then I basically like fill out our entire itinerary, which is really cool. I love this feature, whether you're using Notion or Evernote or just an app or Google Docs, whatever you use. I think it's just really great to have stuff like this at your fingertips, because when you're at the airport or whenever, you need to pull up your shuttle information or whatever it is, it's very easily accessible, not just for you, but whoever this itinerary pertains to. So we're actually going to Hawaii for a wedding. My brother-in-law is getting married, and so I was able to share our entire itinerary with the bride, and so that way she knows when we're departing, when we're supposed to arrive in Hawaii, when we're going home, anything that she needs. All that information is there, and she can just view it just in case she needs something without having to ask me. So I think it's a great resource and a great tool. I basically used the Notion travel template, and I just modified it to fit my own trip. So if you go to new page, you can go to templates, and then under personal, there's a travel planner. And so you can just use this template. It'll copy this exact same thing for you, and then you just use it as needed. And you can get as detailed or be as general as you want. And then you can add and take things away depending on whether you need that feature or not. So it's a great starting point if you're going to be traveling. And I will definitely go more in depth on my setup once we get closer, maybe in July sometime, because I know a lot of families are going to go on trips, especially since things are kind of starting to open up here in the US. I will go over how I use this travel planner for you guys. But yeah, so let's go back to HQ. Sorry about that, guys. I just had to go over it because that is something that I was working on last week, and I was just nerding out over how much I loved the travel planner. Anyway, so this week, let's go ahead and filter our daily journals so that the only daily journals that show up are this week's journals. So we want all the daily journals that are on or after June 14th. We know that's correct because I haven't created one yet. So let's go ahead and create today's daily journal. Today is Monday, 6/14, and then it's the week of June 14th through 20th. I actually want to move this up because it's always something that I do first. Come on, man. Why won't you move? Drag. She's dragging. She's trying to drag it. All right. Notion wants to be a pain in the butt. Okay. And then I clicked on my template and it loaded everything for me. Oh my God, this is driving me crazy. Can we please, Notion, cooperate? Won't work. Okay. No. All right. Well, I want to move that basically to the very top. Moving on, because Notion doesn't want to be friendly today. Let's see what I've done already today. So I haven't done my meditation. And that's funny because I was looking straight at it and I was like, I should open the app. And then I didn't do it because I was watching Micah. So I'm going to do that probably during my lunch break. But I go ahead and I got ready. I've been starting to weigh myself daily just to keep myself accountable because like I said, Hawaii is in 49 days, people. So as much as some people say, don't weigh yourself every day, I just have to because I need that accountability. So I did that. I had my glass of water and I made my morning coffee this morning. I shared my gratitude with the gratitude group text this morning. I didn't have a daily download, so that is not applicable, but I don't want to remove this because I want to do a daily download every night and reread it. But I just didn't do one last night because we had our pop-up and it was exhausting. So I'm just going to cross that out because I don't want to check mark it because I didn't technically do it, but I'm going to cross that out. And then I'm going to say my mantras, which are basically my affirmations for today. One thing that I wanted to share with you guys that I started using is, let me remove my screen share really quickly. Okay, one thing I started using is this Affirm Actions card deck. I got it from Unique LA when we did our pop-up there. And these are super cool because it's basically a deck of positive affirmations. And what I've been doing is I've been just kind of like taking one out, and then I would randomly pick one, and then that would be my extra positive affirmation for the day. So I picked one right before this live show, and this one right here is the one that I picked, and it says, I will press on until I achieve my heart's desires. I will press on until I achieve my heart's desires. And like, this is a great one because last week, I gotta tell you, and this is why we're going into the idea of cost analysis, because I got an email last week, not yesterday. I got an email last week from a customer that was commenting on our price point and how much we charge. And so, you know, I have never really been one to feel sorry, or not feel sorry, but apologize for how much we charge for something, because honestly, I definitely have our customers in mind when we do cost analysis and we break down our cost. We're not trying to be like this luxury brand or anything like that. But we obviously, as a business, need to make a profit. And when it comes to food, there's a certain margin that we need to fall into to be able to make a profit, period. And I'm never one to really apologize. So I got, an email from a person that was commenting about our price point. And I said, this is unfortunately how much it costs. If it was more economical for us, then I would definitely be charging less. But as supplies are, not as readily available and our costs are going up, unfortunately, that's just the nature of the business. Costs are going to go up no matter what. And so I'm very transparent about it. It's not something that I hide at all. And I really definitely think, though, as an entrepreneur, you shouldn't be ashamed to cost out what you need to cost out and charge what you need to charge. Because at the end of the day, a business is a business. And though this is a passion of mine, though I really care about our customers, at some point, why would I put all my time and energy into it if I wasn't able to provide for my family and make a living? And that's just the reality of it. I love what I do, and I care about our community and I care about our customers. But, the biggest thing for us is getting imported products. We sell Filipino food and dessert, and products that we need, raw materials need to come from the Philippines. And that's not cheap nowadays. It's more expensive. There are more regulations for import and export, especially in the recent years. Not just because of the pandemic. That's a big factor. The pandemic is a big factor, but for other reasons as well, like taxes on imports and all that stuff. It's forced a lot of people that purchase things from outside of the country to pay higher prices because of taxes and things like that. And so I definitely buy local as much as possible. However, me being a Filipino business and selling Filipino inspired products, I have to buy imported. So because of that, it has gotten really expensive. And so I just explain it because I'm not ashamed to say, unfortunately, our costs have gone up. And so for us to still remain in business and to continue selling products at the quality that we want to sell it at, this is what has to happen. And it's unfortunate. I never want to raise prices. I always get anxiety when I do it, but it is what it is. So this affirmation is 100% applicable to me this week. I will press on until I achieve my heart's desires, especially when people want to question why you do something. They deserve an answer, of course. It's not like I'm saying they don't deserve an answer, but they deserve a truthful one, and you deserve to be able to tell the truth and not worry about the response or the reaction that someone is going to have from that truth. So just wanted to put it out there. Okay, so that's my affirmation for today, and I'm going to say the rest of them after we get off my live call or this live show. Today's focus is I'm going to watch, because we're talking about, let me see here, what was our focus this week? Okay, so preparing and restocking our store, community design, that's what it was. Okay, so going back, I will watch week 2 of community design masterclass today, because I want to move forward on my community membership and learn how I can best serve my audience. Okay, so that will be something I want to do today. I have to watch the video so that I can work on the homework. I'll probably end up working on the homework tomorrow, because Wednesday is a heavy production day for Ninongs. The other thing that I wanted to focus on this week is promoting the Prep Talk live show. Okay, so I did one post already this morning. I shouldn't have done it this morning. It should have been like Sunday or Saturday to let people know that this live show is happening, but that's why I want to focus on that today. I'm going to plan the week's Instagram posts so I can inform people about the live show in a timely manner and to provide insight into the food industry for growing food entrepreneurs. So like I said, I want to do 2 posts a week at minimum, and so that second post that's going to happen sometime this week, it's probably going to be on Friday. No, I lie. It's probably going to be on Wednesday, to tell you the truth. And I'm going to work on the caption and the photo today so that it can go up on Wednesday. And then I will probably do the Instagram live post, the YouTube live post on, let's try Saturday. So that means I want to work on one today, and then Saturday's post will probably be on Thursday. I want to create the image on Thursday, work on the caption so that it can go live on Saturday. So that's probably what I'm going to do. Let's try that for a few weeks and see what happens. Okay. And then the other goal was to prepare and restock the online store. So I know that this week is going to be heavy on our end when it comes to baking and production. So I know my evenings are going to be basically full of packaging and stickering and all that stuff, so that and sealing all of our products into their bags. So I'm going to go ahead and I will set time aside tonight to work on pastry production so that we can restock the online store and make some money. Okay, so those are the 3 things that I'm going to focus on today. If I get other things done, great. An example of other things that I want to get done is, as you can see here and over here, there's tons of mess because we had our pop-up yesterday and we were prepping on Saturday. It was a whole thing, and so I haven't really had a chance to clean up here at the house. And so sometime this week, I'm going to be working on that. And usually it's on Thursday that I do work on it, but I think I'm going to have to do it tomorrow as well. So let's go into Tuesday actually. And I'm just going to put tidy up here because it can't wait till Thursday. Definitely not. It's going to be, this house is not going to feel like I can function in it if it stays like this. So I'm going to put that into my to-do list for tomorrow. All right, and then I need to have a Hawaii photo, so let's add our cover photo for today. So I'm going to change cover. I'm going to click on Unsplash, and this will give you some beautiful stock photos that you can use and you can add to your cover. So you can either you can type in Hawaii and pick something from here. You can type in beach and go from here. Like, see, this is one that I've picked in the past. This is one I've picked in the past. You can even type in vacation and see what pops up. Ooh, I like that. Ooh, this is even better. Okay, I'm gonna pick this one. So all you need to do, wow, what's going on? There you go. All you need to do is click on it, and then if you are on the desktop version, you can even reposition it, so you can drag it and move it around depending on if you want to have a different angle. But I'm going to move it right there because I think that's great, and you save position. If you're on your phone or on your tablet, you can add a cover photo, but it automatically picks which is the best position for you, and you can't change it, you can't reposition it, as far as I know. So if you want to be able to reposition it, definitely do it on your desktop. Okay, so that's done. Daily journal is there. I have a cute photo for inspiration. Let's filter out our tasks for the week. So I want to only see the tasks that are due on or before Sunday, because Sunday is the end of my week. And so that's done. Now what I always do after we get off the live show is I update all the due dates for the entire week. And I do that because over the weekend, I'm not as active as I like to be. Let's put this here. I'm not as active as I like to be on Notion, but that's okay because it's the weekend. I want to just kind of go at my own pace. I don't want to feel like I'm working in a sense. I just want to check and see occasionally what needs to get done. And if I see myself not being in the habit of checking those, to-dos on the weekend, then it's okay also. I can go ahead and just say, hey, it's all good. I'll get to it on Monday, because everything that I do on the weekend, unless it's a pop-up, is not pressing. So what I like to do is I'll just set this as I usually do. I'll set my filter for Sunday, and then I'll go in here and I'll see if everything on Monday is actually set for today. So I can see June 14th, I have to update my expense spreadsheet, plan out the week. We're doing that now, so I can move this to next week, the 21st, and then it will disappear from my list. I'm going to check on groceries, do project review. I'm going to check my project database when I do my project review, and then I'm going to go over my goals. I always go over my goals every Monday, and so I can also make sure that in my daily journal, as you can see, I have my daily journal set. It's all in here. Now, if something was set to a different day because I didn't update the date, and it was last Monday, for example, it was marked as June 7th instead of June 14th, it's not going to show up in my daily journal because this filter is set to only give me the tasks that are due today. So if it was due on June 7th, which was last Monday, that's not today. So it's not going to show up here. So I want to make sure that I filter through this. And then there are also things that I've done already that just need to get moved over, and I just forgot to mark them off. So I like to go through this entire week on Monday to make sure all the dates are correct, and then just mark the things that have already been completed, so I know as best as possible this is pretty accurate for the rest of the week. So I always do that when we get off of our live show, just because I don't want to waste your time doing that. I feel like it's not really necessary. You guys get the idea. But if you want me to, let me know. We can go through the entire tasks for the week, and I can show you how I do that. All right, now that we're done, we're all good. All reflection questions are here because it's already in the template. We are happy and we are set to go for the week. I want to try one more time to move this up, and it won't do it. Notion, you're the best. I say that sarcastically. Anyway, for the most part though, Notion is the best. Okay, so now let's go into our cost analysis. Now, like I mentioned, like that person that sent that email to me that was questioning our cost. If you don't know your cost, you can't go back to your customer and be confident in what you're saying when it comes to when you have to increase prices, or if someone says that they feel like you're too expensive. If you don't know whether you're expensive or not, you can't really rebuttal and share and be truthfully honest with your audience. So if that's another reason for you to encourage you to do your cost analysis, hopefully that helps you. But let's go through a typical recipe. Let's do like a chocolate chip cookie. Okay, let's do a chocolate chip cookie and kind of figure out how much it costs to make that product. That way you can actually see whether or not you're making a profit or not. Let's go into Sheets. Okay, so I'm going to create a new spreadsheet. I love using Google Sheets because it's a really great way to share spreadsheets and documents and presentations and collaborate with people. So if you have a team or if you have a business partner, this is the perfect way to share your cost analysis. That way it's very easy for people to check, and if you have an assistant or you want to teach someone how to use cost analysis, you can very easily share this with them and get them to update pricing for you and that type of thing. So we're gonna put cost analysis. Okay, so I've done this for multiple industries, and admittedly so, if you're in the food industry, it's hard because there's different units of measure, right? There's tablespoons, there's cups, there's milliliters, there's grams, there's pounds. So this, when it comes to food, it's not 100% accurate compared to, say, an industry like the print industry, where you can cost things out per sheet of paper or per piece, per sticker, per whatever. It's a lot easier to cost things out like that because the unit of measure is easy. But when it comes to food, because things change based on volume and density and the material that you're using, it's not as easy as others. So I'm going to try and simplify this as much as possible. And if you guys have questions in regards to how I calculate these numbers, then we can go into that in further questions, or in office hours in the community, in the group coaching community, we can go into it more. But let's just look up a generic cookie, chocolate chip cookie recipe. So let's type in chocolate chip cookie recipe. All right, so let's pick Nestle, because why not? They have an amazing chocolate chip cookie. Now you can always buy their you can buy their pre-made. That would be really easy, right? To be able to do your cost analysis, because if you go to a grocery store that is geared to wholesalers like Costco or Restaurant Depot or Smart and Final, you can buy these tubs of pre-made muffin mix, pre-made cookie dough, that type of thing, and you can just do your cost that way, because then you can say 1 tub of cookie dough makes 100 cookies. And so you can say, let's do something as simple as that first. So we can say ingredient, cost, unit per ingredient, units per ingredient, basically. Let's do that. And then it'll be per piece. We'll do price. Okay. Let's just say per piece. Okay, so let's make an example here, and it'll be a frozen cookie dough. That's something that you can definitely buy if you wanted to. And let's say that item costs you $50. And 1 tub, this is all theoretical, mind you, 1 tub makes, I don't know, let's say 100 cookies, like I said. So in your cost per piece, you can do your price divided by how many you can make, and that basically shows you that your cost without baking, utilities, whatnot, and your time, just the ingredients costs you 50 cents. Great, awesome. So if you know that each cookie costs you 50 cents, don't forget about your packaging, right? So you're gonna put it in a bag, and the price for a bag is $20, let's say, and it comes with 1,000 in a case. So we're going to do the math again. We're going to divide the price, which is $20, divided by how many comes in that box, in that case, which is 1,000. And so now you know that your bags cost you 2 cents each. Now, do you have a sticker on it? Do you want to put your branding and your logo on it? That comes with the cost as well. So let's put sticker. And let's say you bought 1,000 stickers. Oh, I'm sorry. You bought 1,000 stickers, and the cost for the 1,000 stickers was, I don't know, $50, right? And so you're going to do the math again. You can either hit the equal sign and then do the math like I did in the last two, or you can just copy this by going Control or Command C and then Command V, copy and paste. And so as you can see here, oh, it didn't do it right. Okay, so we're gonna do, oh yeah, I did do it right. So it basically pasted into the cell and it does the math for you again. So now you know your stickers cost you 5 cents. So far with the packaging, the cookies, the cookie itself, and the sticker, it's costing you about 57 cents. Okay, so that's the base of it, right? So far our total so far is 57 cents, right? All right, so let's just say you want to eventually move into a ghost kitchen. You eventually want to move into you want to have a bake shop someday. You want to have a retail space someday. You want to factor that in also. But if maybe you don't know whether or not you want to, move into a retail space someday, what about your cost at home if you're baking at home? So other things that you need to think about are utilities. Let's get more specific on utilities, and let's say gas and electricity, and even water, if that is something that you get charged. So how do you calculate those things? Well, a really great way is to look at your previous bills from your utilities, and then look at your new bills after you started selling your stuff, right? You'll be able to see how much of a difference you pay based on when you started your business and when you don't, right? So even if you're doing an online business and not necessarily a product, you're still going to be using up more electricity because you're powering a camera, you're powering a computer, a microphone, whatever it is, or you're working at home more, so you're using more lights, you're using more whatever it is, more internet. So you want to look at your previous usage before you started your business, and then you want to look at it after, and then you can basically take an average. Okay, and so say before you used to spend $30 on your gas bill, and now you're spending around $80. So that's basically a $50 difference, right? So you can put in the price here, and then you can say, and then what you want to do is you want to calculate how much time it takes for you to bake a product. So say you're working, say the oven is working basically from, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. because that's when you're baking at home. So you know that it's 3 hours per day, right? So you can multiply the 3 hours per day or per week. Let's make it per week, just to make it easy. So 4 weeks in a month, 3 hours a day is when you're baking. So 12 hours a month is how much you're adding to your regular gas usage. And then you can go ahead and divide that just like you did with the other cells. So now you can see your cost is, you used, the price was $50, you divide it by 12 hours, so it costs you $4.17 per hour to make your products. Now take it a step further, and let's ask, how many can you make in an hour, right? So let's say, for example, one tray of cookies is, let's pretend it makes 12 cookies per tray. And you can do 24 cookies per batch. And within an hour, you can do 2 batches. So that is 24 cookies in one oven, and then you can do it 2 times, so you make 24, right? So you would basically take your cost for your gas and divide it by 24 pieces, and that gives you your cost for each cookie for gas for a utility. Now, this is obviously not exact, but it gives you a good frame of reference when you're talking about pricing. So if it costs you an additional 17 cents, that'll be 74. So far we're at 74 cents, right? And then you would do the same for electricity, you would do the same for water. The same formula. All right, so that's how you can build up your total. So let's pretend that we're going through the same thing. The price is an additional $50 compared to when I wasn't in business, and 12 hours, so it would be the same. I'm going to copy this, I'm going to paste this, copy this, and paste this. And let's say it's the same for water. I mean, it probably isn't, but for all intensive purposes, that's what we're going to do. So now we're at 74 cents, and then let's basically do this. Let's equal this plus this plus this plus this plus this. Oops, hold on. Sorry. This. All right. Oh man. Okay. Need to add. So this is going to be the sum of all of this. All right. So after all is said and done, once you do that, you realize, okay, it costs me $1.09 to make each cookie. That way you know. And mind you, this is not even calculating labor, right? This is just your cost without labor. And so if it costs you $1.09 just to make the cookie, you need to remember, I need to sell it for a profit, right? And so when you first start, my recommendation is, and this was taught to me by another mentor in the food industry, you want your margins to be roughly 30% of, your cost. So let's just multiply this by 3. Retail price. All right, so let's take $1.09 times 3. So to make a profit, you need to charge $3.27 per cookie. Okay, that's your retail price. Now, if you want to do wholesale, you can always take this and multiply it by 2.5. It's totally up to you. You can do whatever formula you're comfortable with, but the main thing is you just want to know. You want to know where you're at, right? Like you need to know where you're at. Why? I was like, why is this not showing up? H2. Okay. So retail price would be $3.27, and if you were to wholesale it to a cafe or a restaurant or a grocery store, it'd be $2.73. And there's wiggle room depending on how you want to do it. But that's basically cost analysis for you. You want to know as close as possible how much things are costing you, right? That's the most important thing, because if you were selling your products and you were like, I want to sell my products at $1 per cookie, well, you're losing 9 cents every time. So you're basically paying out of pocket every time you sell something. That's not profitable. That's not a business that you can grow. And so you have to remember, even if you were only to double it, which is fine, it's totally up to you, and you were to double it and say you wanted to charge $2.18 per cookie. Great. At least you know where you're at, because then, I don't know about you, but there's always people that are like, I want, what can you, instead of $2.18, give it to me for $2? That's your call, right? There are people that are going to want to bargain. And then at least if someone says, give it to me for $2 versus $2.18 per cookie, you say, okay, no problem, but you got to buy 12. You got to buy 24 to make it worth it. Because at the end of the day, like I said, you need to pay for the materials that you're using. You need to pay for that cookie dough. You need to pay for the bag, the sticker, and the utilities, because you're spending on it, right? And this is not even including the website or the phone service if you have one. This isn't including your time. This isn't including any of that. That's just basically $1.09 was our cost analysis just for ingredients, supplies, and utility. So I'm not saying we gotta increase our price to $5, but you just need to know where you're at, is what my point is. So I hope this helps you guys. If you want to do more cost analysis stuff like this, please let me know. I'm more than happy to break down numbers with you guys and get more specific when it comes to measurements, especially for the food business. It's hard because, like I said, densities like A cup of flour is very different from pounds, half a pound of flour. It's all very like subjective in some ways, because it just depends on the density of what it's getting very scientific here, but it all just depends. So yes, it's not as exact as maybe other industries, but you can get very close and you can get a very good idea. And once you're within a few cents, you're good, So I hope this helps you guys once again. If you have any questions about it or have any comments, please put them below. I'm more than happy to continue this conversation with you guys. And then the last thing I want to mention is this is something that you should audit on a regular basis. You shouldn't just be doing it when you create the product and then that's it. Like, you need to actually be doing this yearly or quarterly or every 6 months, because I can guarantee you, without you knowing it, in at least every year, your costs are going up a little bit. Whether it's your supplies like flour or meat, whatever it is that you're selling, oil, rice, I don't know what you're selling, but I can guarantee you that whoever you're buying these ingredients from, they're increasing the prices on you as well. And I've been victim of this, where I don't check. I don't see how much prices are going up, because I already did the cost analysis in my head, and then next thing I know, I have reason to do cost analysis, and I'm like, whoa, we're not making any money on something because I haven't increased our prices. And so whenever you do increase the price, you also want to validate that that price is fair, right? I'm not saying you're validating that price based on what other people are charging, because that's the easier thing to do. The easier thing is to look at a competitor that's selling something similar and say, I'm going to charge the same because they probably did the cost analysis and they're good. But I definitely discourage doing that, because you don't know what their story is. You don't know how much they're getting their ingredients for. You don't know how much their overhead is. You don't know how much they're paying themselves. You don't even know if they did the cost analysis in the first place. So never just look at whatever someone else is charging and just saying, I'm going to charge that. That is like the number one thing. If you take anything away from this live show, do not do that, please. I beg you. Do your homework. Start with that. And then at least then you know where you need to be. If that means you only sell one product, one flavor to start, one cookie to start with, then that's what it is and that's what you do. Because then at least you know whatever you're selling is at the right price point for you. Not for everybody else, but for you. Granted, I also, on the flip side, want to say, if your cost analysis is really nice and your margins are perfect and you're well below the industry, then charge what the industry charges. I say that why? Because I can guarantee you're going to find a way to increase your expenses somehow, some way. And so if you wanted to sell your cookies at $3, but the industry is selling their cookies at $5, which they're not at this time of making this video, but say it was. Say the industry was selling cookies at $5 and you're selling them at $3, then sell them for $5. The main thing is you don't want to lose money. You want to make sure you're making money. And I say that to say that, like, you want to keep moving the industry forward, right? Whatever industry you're breaking into, you want to keep the industry moving forward, and maybe even riling some feathers along with it. But what value can you bring to make it that $5 price point versus keeping it at $3 and then making all your competitors look at you and being like, what are you doing, right? So stick with the industry. Maybe if it is $5, you don't have to necessarily charge exactly what the industry is charging, but you want to stay somewhere within that margin. So maybe you do $4.50 because you're starting out, because like I said, if your business grows because you're so busy and you're doing so well, which is what I want for you, and then you say, I need to grow, I need to hire a team member, you're going to increase your price. So if it's already there and you don't have to increase your price, even better, right? So just be prepared. I know cost is a very controversial topic. I'm just going over the bare bones. It gets much more complicated from here on out. But if you want to, get a deep dive into this, I'm more than happy to further this discussion. I do office hours in my group coaching community every first and third Friday. And if this is a topic that excites you or is something that you need to work on, but you've been putting it off, I'm more than happy to dive deeper with you guys. So that being said, thank you so much for joining me on this live show. If you're watching the recording, I hope this was helpful for you. I have chapters that I'm trying to work on so that if you're looking for a specific topic, you'll be able to find it in the description below. So I'll mention that at the beginning of next week's video. But thank you once again for joining me this week on the Prep Talk live show. If you want to connect with me more often than just every Monday, then please follow me on Instagram. My Instagram name is @justkissa, and we can always connect there. Or if you have any questions, you can connect with me and ask them on Instagram as well, because I'm pretty active on Instagram to a degree. So thank you so much again. I hope to see you again next week. We'll be talking about our Q2 goals, because Q2 is wrapping up. I can't believe it. And then after next week, we're going to go ahead and talk about setting goals for Q3. So thank you guys once again. I'll see you next Monday at 12 p.m. noon Pacific time, and have a great week. Bye.